Hi guys, this is Avix and I'm going to talk about updated build guide for Spec RD. I wanted to wait for at least 2 weeks before I post this video because I believe the update was poorly done and developers didn't really achieve the initial goal in this update, so there might be some follow-up patches and we just got it today. About 13% nerf for Spec RD, and I honestly felt this class has been very strong last week, so I don't know if 13% nerf is the right amount, but maybe after a few weeks I'll get the answer, so no worries. And the good news is we didn't get any changes in structure, so we don't have to change the build. Now, as you all know, the research is still in progress, so there might be little changes over time, but I think I got the basic idea for our new build, and even if some details change, this basic idea will stay the same. Let's start with the skill setup. Gravity Explosion and Flamethrower are your main meter gain skills, and you're gonna need probably both of them to reach max barrage gauge for every rotation. They both have 27 seconds to cooldown, they both are holding skills, both got huge buff in damage, so you definitely need to use both of them in spec build. Firepower control, attack range, Azure Flame with hopefully legendary Wealth Run, and crit chance, attack speed, damage tripod with epic Wealth Run. And homing barrage and air raid are still our main damage among normal skills, plus decent meter gain, so you also need them. For homing barrage, same tripod as before, and for air raid, lightning barrage now gives you better damage expectation because you lost crit chance for normal skills, and you don't need runes for these two skills. Energy field, great skill for survival, and also make sure that you don't get knocked out during flamethrower and gravity explosion. Same tripod as before, no runes. Summon turret is good with bleed rune and it gives you constant meter gain. You use sub battery, enhanced turret or fast cast, and big pet. You can use bleed rune or blue wealth rune, but I recommend you to get bleed rune. And now enhanced shell replaces the role of forward barrage, and there has been a big buff in meter gain and attack speed, so it is a synergy slash another meter gain skill. So armor destruction and firepower control with epic wealth, and level 10 tripod is not needed, so level 7 is enough. Now we have one more space left, but your rotation works fine with just 7 skills I mentioned earlier, so this one is for utility and counter skill. I usually use forward barrage with rage rune, sometimes with range tripod, sometimes with firepower control, and the best setup for stable DPS is obviously firepower control because it helps you with meter gain, and the more meter gain, the more stable DPS you have. But your other skills now have longer range than forward barrage, and it is pretty hard to get near your enemies, so getting rid of that pressure made it so much better to play. And since you don't have much stagger damage in your skills, when you're playing raid that needs high stagger, you can replace it with napalm with overwhelm, crit chance, and chain explosion. And if you need mobility, or I know it is not your case, but in one of my raid I need a long stun skill for PvP mode, and level 10 swing is very helpful in that condition. So this one is situational space for utility and counter skills that you can change depending on the raid conditions. And then I have 3 Gale Wind for barrage skills. And now let's move on to engravings. Garage, Kin, Blunt Weapon, Barrage Enhancement are obviously needed, and if you want to exclude Garage, take Hitmaster or Curse Doll instead. And you guys might question if All Out Attack is worth using, and the answer is absolutely yes. Although it doesn't apply to many skills, it gives you 20% increase for your main barrage skills, and it gives you attack speed at the same time. And it also gives attack speed for flamethrower and gravity explosion, which happens to be your most important meter gain skills. And it helps you with accuracy of those skills, which is very helpful in real raid. Also, adrenaline is always valuable when you have crit damage from Kindle Weapon, so my best choice for 3x5 setup is Grudge, Kindle Weapon, All Out Attack, Adrenaline, Barrage Enhancement. You can replace Grudge and Adrenaline with Hitmaster or Curse Doll, You can replace both of them or just one of them, either way is fine. But I believe the best setup is Grudge, Kin Blown Weapon, All Out Attack, Adrenaline, Barrage Enhancement. Next, stats and item sets. It is still Spec Crit Salvation and Spec Swift Hallucination, and since we got quality of life improvement for Hallucination, it has gotten better, but still my personal recommendation is Spec Crit Salvation. The difference between those two is you have similar attack speed and crit chance, but in Salvation you have more raw damage, and in Hallucination you have more movement speed and CDR. And finally, let's move on to gem setup. The most important gem is obviously barrage damage, and you need both damage and CDR for flamethrower and gravity explosion, and damage gem for homing barrage and air raid, CDR gem for energy field. These are the important gems in my opinion. You can equip 3 more gems, and personally I like Summon Turret damage and CDR plus Enhanced Gel CDR. Now ideally, because your rotation works like 1 flamethrower and 1 gravity explosion for every rotation, you don't need CDR gems for homing barrage and air raid. But in some cases in real raid, you charge your barrage meter and wait for the opportunity, or you miss your meter gain skills and your cycle is kind of messed up, so it doesn't work ideally. And in the cases you can get CDR gems for homing barrage and air raid, so it is basically your choice. Now we covered pretty much everything about setups, and now let's move on to rotation and tips for real raid. You spam your normal skills to gain barrage meter, and there's not like decided order, just try to use your meter gain skills in time, and when you reach max level, get into barrage mode as quickly as possible regardless of your normal skill cooldown. Naturally, you're gonna need flamethrower and gravity explosion to reach max level, so the time interval between barrage mode is mostly decided by cooldown of flamethrower and gravity explosion. You can see I'm using small skills between skills that take some time, but in real raid, your skill accuracy is very important, especially flamethrower and gravity explosion. So when your enemy is rooted by any reason, try to use flamethrower and gravity explosion right away for guaranteed hit, and then use enhanced shell, turret, nukes, something like that. Spec RD was very time dependent before, but now it isn't, so there's no need to use your skills in hurry. Try to be patient and wait for the chance for guaranteed hit. If you miss your flamethrower or gravity explosion, you might have big trouble at meter gain, so use energy field before those skills. And since awakening is not as strong as before, and even if you exit barrage mode, now you're still in 5 power level 3, so try to use awakening as fast meter gain right after you exit barrage mode. If you're using heavy turret, you can summon it right before barrage mode, use all the barrage skills and press V after you exit barrage mode, and then it charges huge amount of barrage meter so you can enter barrage mode again very quickly. It is hard to get the chance of using this technique, but it is always good to know these things in case you have a chance. You don't have any damage reduction when you're not in barrage mode, so compared to before, you're gonna be pretty squishy, so be aware of that. Your general playstyle is the same as before, charge your meter, use barrage mode when you have the chance, so you have to understand when there's a gimmick and when you have the opportunity, and you've been doing this for a long time, so you're gonna be fine. So this is all I prepare for this video. Please do enjoy playing Spec RD and don't worry too much about the nerf. If it's too much, we're gonna get another buff. If it's not, we're gonna be fine. Good luck on your raid this week, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!